Hi, I'm Kayla, the Booktube Turtle, and today I'm going to be talking about my outlining process. So I made an outlining video a few years ago. It's on this channel somewhere. I don't know where. If you want to go looking for it, you totally can. It's still up there somewhere. But today I'm giving like an update of that process because I honestly have no idea what I talked about in that other video, and it was also like years ago, so I was probably extremely awkward. So yeah, today I'm going to be focusing on the way that I outline now. So first, I make notes. I love organization. I love notes. I make a lot of notes. So whenever I get an idea for a book, I take notes of that idea and like any of like the details that come to me whenever. So like this could be like bits of dialogue, anything with like characters or plot, or like sometimes full on like scenes hit me and I have to like write it out so I don't forget it. I mostly have these on a folder in the notes app on my phone. Let me see if it'll let me show you. You can't see that, can you? Okay, well, I have a thing on there that says BTG series, which is Beyond the Gates, and then there's subfolders for every book. And you open up that, you open up one of the things, and I just have like a list of notes that I just like take as they come to me, like I said. And I usually like collect these notes like until I'm ready to start writing. And even like after I've started writing, if something comes to me, I still make a note of it so I don't forget it. Because if I didn't write it down, it would be gone forever. Of course, it's different if it's like your first book. Because for me, I usually have like multiple books lined up pretty much since middle school. I've always had something I was working on. And like for my series, like obviously there's other books that come after the one I'm currently working on, so it helps to keep notes of things that are going to happen in those later books. Then when I'm ready to write, I go through all of my notes and then start outlining. So I have kind of a specific way that I do my outlining. I have the first step is what I call a flowchart outline. This is what it looks like. There's, it's like 3 pages. This is printer paper that I wrote on. And the piggies are squeaking. So basically with this type of outline, I just try to hit the big points of the story. So I'll write like a word or a phrase, sometimes even like a full sentence, and then I draw an arrow and do another word, phrase, or sentence, draw an arrow, and I just repeat that until I'm all the way through the book. And it just really helps me visualize how the story and the characters arc over time throughout the book. Yeah, I mean, like, and it's not just like I automatically like know everything to write down. Sometimes I do have to like sit there and think about it, but I mostly just hit the major points. And for like multiple perspectives, like POVs, I highlight according to which character I want to tell which pieces of the story. So for example, I have Emma in yellow and Jessie in blue. If you know anything about Beyond the Gates, that series. So yeah, I just kind of went through and thought about who I wanted to tell each piece of the story, and I highlighted it according to that. I was gonna give you all an example, but like literally the very first line of this is a huge spoiler, so I can't say that. Okay, let me talk about this one. This is from a later chapter. So it says, group meeting to figure out next steps, arrow. Jay feels determined to take the lead. See, I also use acronyms or like abbreviations, so like Emma's E, J is Jessie, other characters have other abbreviations that really, I don't know if anybody else would understand if they were like looking at this paper, but it makes sense in my brain. Anyway, Arrow, Blink suggests trying to contact Blink. I cannot say the names right now because spoilers. This is terrible. I can't. Okay, I also wrote out a thing for like Beyond the Gates because I couldn't find my flowchart for that book. But for the first scene, I just like kind of wrote out real quick. So like it would be like training fight, Arrow, E wins, Arrow, talk about levels, that's a thing, Arrow, intro to Cam, which is Cameron, Arrow, E wants to go outside, Arrow, go back to dorms and Lacey intro, Arrow, go to graduation dinner, Arrow, meeting with Ambassador. So it's very not specific, but specific enough, if that makes any sense. I didn't think about the difficulty of like explaining this using my own book. What was I thinking? Because like this one's so good, but I can't tell you what's on it because it's huge spoilers. Okay, it's fine. Once I finish my flowchart outline, I move into a chapter outline. So it's basically just expanding the flowchart, and it goes like super in depth. I do this on my computer, not a piece of paper, and it's just a very long bulleted list. So then I just plot each chapter from start to finish. And I mean that quite literally. So like usually my first bullet point is just like start, and then I have sub bullet points and it's like this is how the chapter's gonna start, and then I have like, you know, the plot things that happen throughout or character things or whatever, and then at the end I'm like chapter ends, and then I like have a sub bullet point or two about how the chapter ends. So like this can include a lot, like anything that you feel like you need. Like I can include like dialogue, or sometimes it's like as small as like a facial expression that I'm just like, oh, I want to make sure that that gets written in there. And I just really take all of these points and just expand them as much as possible. And because for me, having an outline just really helps. So as far as like writing the draft, after the chapter outline is complete and I've like fleshed it out as best as I can, I usually take a break for a few days to a week, and then I start writing. But it's also important to note that I don't always stick to my outline, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. So like I tend to edit and change my outline as I go, because when you're writing a first draft, like things are gonna change. You're gonna get new ideas to include, or you're gonna realize that something doesn't make sense anymore. And it's perfectly okay to change your outline. A lot of people don't outline because they think they're gonna be like stuck to that, and like you're not. And I mean, for me, having the outline honestly helps me because I don't really get stuck. I don't really get like writer's block because I know what's coming next. And even if things change, I can still like rework my outline to fit that and go from there. So yeah, I guess I really don't ever have writer's block. I mean, there's days when I'm definitely like unmotivated and just like I hate everything and I'm not gonna write today. But as far as like not knowing what's going on or what's happening, I usually know. Anyway, I just think that writing is so much easier when you know where you're going and what you're doing, because I've definitely didn't used to outline back in like middle school, early high school, and I never finished anything because of that. So yeah, having an outline has been life-changing, and yeah, this is my current process for it. So let me know if you like to outline, if you're an outliner, or plotter is the term, or if you just wing it. And if you do outline, let me know what your process is. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Bye.